lo logró, pero fue una máscara contra máscara en el 93 contra Cavernícola, pero nunca ha apostado en máscara contra cabelleras. Y dice que todo es posible, y claro que sigue buscando retos.
So good, and Paco Alonzo really put me in a good position to succeed. There were so many magazines then, the revistas were all over the place, and I can remember being on the cover of like 7 magazines at the same time on on the same day, on the same week. It was very, very big for me. And I just remember learning so much from so many great wrestlers, so many great luchadors, Negro Casas, Bestia Salvaje, Silver King, Tejano, El Dandy, Felino. You know, the list goes on and on and on. Dr. Wagner, Silver King. So I learned so much in the ring, and I learned so much of who I was as a young man, 22 years old, 23 years old. And some of those lessons that I learned in Mexico, both in the ring, like I said, and outside of the ring, I still use to this day. So it was a real, as we say in English, coming of age time for me. And all I can remember is just a happy feeling about Mexico City and about the entire country. I really, really, really enjoyed my time in Mexico, and it really helped me become the worldwide star that I am today.
Ok, Chris habla sobre que fue un gran momento en la lucha en los años 90. Fue un gran boom, los fans fueron muy buenos, Paco Alonso se portó muy bien conmigo, me ayudó mucho, y había muchas revistas, y recuerda que incluso aparecía en las revistas en la portada una semana 6 o 7 veces en las diferentes revistas. Aprendí mucho de muchos luchadores, el Dandy, Negro Casas, Felino, Wagner, y aprendí que a mis 22, 23 años, y algunas cosas que en ese momento las usé, las sigo usando todavía. Entonces, lo que él recuerda es una arena feliz, él estuvo muy feliz y tiene recuerdos muy buenos acerca del país, y que gracias al Consejo Mundial y a su paso aquí en México, lo pudo convertir en la superestrella que ahora es. Next question, Chris. Does the comments of your coworkers of AEW made your decision easier to come here for the anniversary?
No, I mean, I had this idea months ago, before guys seemed to come to Arena Mexico every week. You know, we were waiting for the anniversary show. I didn't need to be convinced to come back to Mexico, because I already know what Mexico is like, and I already know how magical Arena Mexico is. So for me, it was just waiting for the right match. And like I said, the Místico was the best idea that we had. And once we were able to do that, then we said, let's make it happen at the anniversary show and make it very special. So I'm happy that my coworkers are getting to experience Arena Mexico, because I think every great wrestler should experience, like I said, that magic. The fans in Arena Mexico are amazing, and the whole atmosphere is incredible. So I'm glad they get to experience this, and now I'm glad to return to feel that experience. And there's really nothing like it. It's one of the best arenas in the world for wrestling, for lucha, and like I said, I'm just very happy to have the opportunity to come back.
Tenía la idea de regresar, incluso antes me dijeron, no me dijeran mis compañeros el hecho de que volviera a pisar México. Nadie me convenció, solamente, les repito, estaba esperando una lucha correcta, y cuando se presentó la oportunidad con Místico, decidimos hacerlo especial, y coincidió que el aniversario estaba cerca, ¿no? Estoy feliz por mis compañeros, porque ellos van a tener la oportunidad y el privilegio de vivir esta experiencia, ¿no? De tener una experiencia de este calibre, y yo únicamente por regresar a una de las mejores arenas para luchar en todo el mundo. Do you think that Lucha Libre has globalized more at this time that when you were here, the first time?
Well, I think the world has gotten smaller. You know, when I was there in 93, 94, 95, there was no YouTube and there was no internet. And I mean, it was like the dark ages. So now, I mean, I think a lot more people know about what happens in Mexico and know all of the great wrestlers in Arena Mexico and around the country, and can watch them at any time. Whereas before you might read about it in a magazine or hear the word of mouth about these guys, but now you can see them. So I think it is much more global than it used to be. But it's still something that you should experience in person. There's nothing like being there in person, and just feeling the crowd and feeling the atmosphere and the vibe. So I think a lot more people know about Arena Mexico now, and that's a good thing because wrestling goes in cycles. Early '90s was very hot, early 2000s was very hot. And now once again in this time, the company is very hot, and the arena is packed every Friday, which is amazing to see. So it's a good time for the company and for Lucha Libre. And I think a lot of that is because so many people around the world now know about this, and want to experience it and want to be a part of it.
El mundo se hizo pequeño. Si antes la gente no conocía ni se globalizaba tanto el estilo de la lucha libre es porque no había forma de llegar al mundo, ¿no? Pero mucho de lo que pasa en México no lo sabemos incluso nosotros por los mismos compañeros que van a luchar a la arena, y es algo que lo puedes leer y conocer ya al alcance de tus manos, ¿no? Pero tienes tú que conocer a la gente, tienes que ver la vibra, tienes que ver los estilos, no solamente por conocimiento, sino que lo tienes que vivir. En este momento la compañía, el Consejo Mundial, está a un nivel muy alto, con llenos cada viernes, y es algo muy bueno para la lucha. Todo esto y todos los que esto forman parte, ¿no? Do you think it's complicated to see in All In Luchador next year?
Do I think it's complicated?
Yeah. To see
How
a
do you
luchador.
how do you mean?
Yeah, to see. Do you think it's complicated to see a luchador in All In next year, a luchador of CMLL?
Oh no, I don't think it's complicated at all. I think it could easily happen. We've got so many great luchadors in AEW, from Commander to Bestia, what is it? Bestia Mortos. Bandito is amazing. We're still waiting for him to come back. Roosh is great. So I mean, there's a lot of great luchadors in AEW that can easily be on All In for sure next year. I'm really excited for the return of Bandito. We had a great match last year, I think it was, or maybe 2 years ago now. But I was really, really impressed with him, and I'm really looking forward to having him come back for sure.
Dice que no ve complicado que regrese, que no ve complicado que pueda haber algún luchador del Consejo Mundial, que ya hay muy buenos luchadores en AEW y está emocionado por los diferentes luchadores que hay ahí y que espera ansioso el regreso de Bandido. Welcome back to Mexico. Is there a chance that Puebla or Guadalajara is arena for you in the near future?
I mean, sure. I mean, Lord knows I wrestled at those places many, many times. I mean, Guadalajara was always on a Sunday. I think Puebla was Thursday, maybe Tuesday. I can't remember. But, once again, like, this is my career in Mexico wasn't just Mexico City. I mean, it was everywhere. Puebla and Guadalajara and Acapulco and, Cuernavaca and Aguas Calientes, and you name it, I was there. And it'd be great to go back to both of those cities. I always liked Guadalajara. It was a great city, a great place. Yeah, I would definitely enjoy going back there at some point for sure.
Dios sabe que lucho en donde sea. Ya luché en Guadalajara y luché en Puebla y lucharé nuevamente ahí. Mi carrera no creció ni se desarrolló únicamente en la Ciudad de México. Puebla, luché en Guadalajara, luché en Puebla, luché en Aguascalientes, en Acapulco, y sería bueno regresar ahí. Me encanta Guadalajara y disfrutaría mucho regresar a cualquiera de los lugares donde ya pude luchar. What does Paco Alonso and CMLL, what's the meaning for you in your life?
Paco Alonso was a great boss. Muy bien jefe for me. He always treated me very well. He paid me very well, and he took care of me. And like I mentioned, from day one, he had a plan for Corazon de Leon. And I don't think I ever wrestled lower than semi-main event, or main event every night, the whole time I was in Mexico. And Paco put me with very great guys, like I mentioned, with Nego Casas and all the great luchadors that I mentioned. So he built me into a very big star, and he always treated me well. He was just a great guy and a great boss. And I was very sad when he passed away. Very happy to reconnect with Salvador Luderoth and his son Matthias. They're a great family, a great wrestling family. And once again, if there was no Paco Alonso and CMLL, I might not be sitting here today. It was the first really big break I got in the wrestling business, and I took advantage of it. I think that I made Paco proud. I never tried to be a problem for him. I always tried to give him my 100% best. And we had a great relationship, and he was a great boss and a great friend. And once again, that's another reason why I want to come back to Arena Mexico for the anniversary show. It's kind of a tribute to Paco. So I'm very proud of the relationship we had and the relationship I had with the Mexican fans, and very excited to come back to feel that again.
Paco Alonso fue un gran jefe, me atendió bien, me trató bien, me pagó bien y me cuidó. Desde el día uno siempre tuvo un plan para Corazón de León, siempre fui estelarista, nunca bajé de semifinales o estelar. Y Paco, bueno, fue un gran tipo. Fue muy triste el día que me pude enterar de su fallecimiento, pero ahora con Salvador y su hijo son una gran familia de la lucha libre. Y reitero, gracias a Paco y al CMLL estoy aquí y por eso regreso. Lo veo como un tributo a Paco que esté acá. Final question. What should we expect on your Friday's match at the anniversary of Arena Mexico?
I think we should expect something very special, because once again, you've got one of the biggest stars in Mexican history and in worldwide history versus one of the biggest stars in American history. And for a time, one of the biggest stars in Mexico as well. So I'm really excited about this. I think it's going to be a great clash of styles. You know, I'm not coming in there as a luchador. I'm coming in there as Chris Jericho with 33 years of wrestling experience and fighting some of the biggest names, or basically all the biggest names who ever wrestled over the last 35 years, 40 years, 50 years. You know, and I'm excited about that. You know, I wrestled with Atlantis and Atlantis Jr. I wrestled with Dos Caras and Alberto Del Rio. You know, I've wrestled the fathers and the sons and everyone in between. And I think I want to bring all of that to Mexico on September 13th and put on a classic match with Místico and have the crowd on the edge of their seats on who's going to win. And when I beat Místico, I'm going to challenge him for his mask. So this might lead to more matches. So I like Místico. I'm a big fan of his. But on September 13th, I'm going to beat him, and I'm going to embarrass him in his home country, in his home arena, and remind people why Chris Jericho is the greatest wrestler of all time, and definitely of this generation. And that's what I'm going to bring to Mexico. It's going to be a lot of fun, but there's going to be a lot of niños triste on September 13th.
Ok, para cerrar sobre el aniversario del Consejo, es algo especial. Van a tener una de las más grandes estrellas a nivel mundial, que es Místico, y una de las grandes estrellas a nivel también mundial en la lucha, en el wrestling, que es Chris Jericho. Es un gran encuentro, será un encuentro de estilos. No voy como luchador, voy como Chris Jericho, ya con 33 años luchando. Estoy emocionado, ya luché contra Atlantis Junior, contra Atlantis Papá, Dos Caras y Alberto del Río. Y quiero traer toda esa experiencia, la quiero mostrar en la arena el próximo aniversario. Y cuando le gane a Místico voy a pedir su máscara. Soy un gran fan de él, lo respeto mucho, pero le ganaré y lo voy a avergonzar y le voy a recordar por qué es el mejor luchador de toda la historia de esta generación. Y seguramente habrá más enfrentamientos una vez que yo le gane. That's all for our part. We are very thankful for your time and we are ready and we're very excited to see you in here.
Sí, muchas gracias de toda la gente. Yo soy Corazón de León. El Místico es Corazón de Ratón. El mejor luchador de toda la historia. Las 13 de septiembre. Yo muy feliz por regreso en México. Yo quiero una lucha clásico. Adios, hasta luego, and I'll see you on September 13th.